Yeah.
The defense is it's immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
And, let's just go ahead and pull it out. You know what I mean? Everybody's referring to Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tank being one of the most explosive offensive fighters against Shakur being one of the greatest defensive fighters of this generation. And I watched him spar before I got in the ring. I was watching him spar like last year, I think it was. And I just was in awe. Again, I get it. It's sparring. But when you take two guys in the ring that have two totally different styles against one guy, and that guy forces both those guys to fight the same way, that to me, I hope y'all catch that out there, because you got a boxer who can counterpunch, get in the ring with Shakur, and literally is at a standstill, can't do anything. And you got an aggressive guy, a lot like myself, all this, and gets in the ring and it's gone. He stabilized all of it, so I'm telling y'all, man, when we talking about a Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson fight, it's 50-50. Everybody's going to say the same thing, and I get it 100%. You can't count out Tank's power. No, you can't. But what if he can't touch Shakur with what he wants to touch him with? Right. And Shakur can actually outbox him and outpoint him, touch him, So I think that's a great fight to be had. And, I think that any of the top names that say they don't want to fight Shakur is because they simply know it's going to be a difficult night. And who wants a difficult night at work?
Exactly.
Give me my coffee and let me clock in and clock out.
Exactly. I think for that fight, people either think that Shakur is going to do a shutout or Tank could hit a homer.
I don't know what that fight looks like, man. I don't. Because, the thing that we know Shakur has is defense, I know personally that he's got offense. I knew that before I got in the ring with him, but he doesn't always turn that offense on. Sometimes the defense stays turned on. Sometimes it's hard for him to connect the dots. But that's why we grow, and that's why we have fights to try to improve. So that's what I'm looking for on fight night from him. I'm not looking for a knockout. I'm not looking for a stoppage. I'm looking for, are you better than I last saw you?
Yeah. And obviously, there's this narrative right now about his hands being hurt. Yeah. A lot of fight fans think that boxers they go to the next fight and they're fresh, but that's not reality. You guys get your hands hurt. That's a reality.
Yeah, I never had any issues whatsoever through my career, and I'm just been blessed by God to be able to make it through everything that I went through in the ring. So I can't really speak to the hands. But from what I've been told by a lot of different fighters is that they're fragile. Like once you hurt them, like they're very susceptible to one punch. I don't know how that whole thing works, but that sucks for Shakur because when you do have it all defensively, he's a technician and can be that offensively as well. A very tactical, sharpshooting, accurate fighter, and when you psychologically know I gotta, use this and I don't want to hurt it, it prevents you from using your offense. So, I mean, that's honestly like one-on-one into the psyche of what a injured athlete goes through. Not an injured boxer, but an injured athlete. They're conscious to the injury, and they're always trying to consciously and subconsciously protect the injury. Simple as that.
When we think of Shakur, he gets, comparisons to Floyd Mayweather's boxing IQ.
Yeah.
For you as a fighter, outside of Tank, who's another guy that, would intrigue you to see Shakur test his abilities against?
I don't know who else. And I even love to see him up at 140 as well. I know he was trying to step in for Ryan Garcia when all that was going down with him and Devin. He was trying to get in the ring and fight Devin. Those names that we've been saying now for quite a few years, Teofimo Lopez, Tank, Davis, Shakur Stevenson. Still would love to see Shakur in the ring with Floyd Schofield. So, I mean, I think that the picking is wide. I'm going to go ahead and speak my mind. I think the boxing world zeroes in on these couple of names, and it's like you got some guy, Mortaya. You got some guys out here on the outside of those names that are really, really good. And even at 135, we're talking about a Mortaya who can actually get in the ring and even if not win, make it a hard night and make it like a fun night to watch, a boxing to watch. You watch these other sports, man. I tell people all the time, like boxing, boxing fans is what I've noticed. Boxing fans, the purest boxing fans, they don't watch a lot of other sports, and if they do, they don't watch the other sports with the same kind of eye that they do with boxing. With boxing, they're looking for perfection. And it's like you watch the NBA game, and it's like dunk on that side, dunk on that side, dunk on that side, dunk on that side. But if this dude starts unloading on this guy, and you thought that this guy was gonna win, so all of a sudden this guy's doing something wrong. No, this guy's actually that good. But the boxing world doesn't tell you to look out for him. You know, so I mean that's a whole lot right there. But there's a lot of guys in every division that I think deserve more recognition, and should those guys get the light, you'd be surprised at how many guys that aren't expected to shine are actually capable of shining more than even some of those guys that do get to shine.
Right. And you just mentioned earlier Raymond Murataya, very quiet on social media. He doesn't do a whole lot of talking, you know, in the threads or in the social media sphere. But what are your thoughts on him? What do you think is his ceiling?
You know, I was a little bit like that. I know that social media, I was like kind of, you know, social media was really going and everything like that when I was going. But I felt like I was only going to get what was given to me, and I didn't really actually start going out and getting things until much later on in my career. I think probably like my last maybe 4 or 5 fights out of like the 30 whatever that I had. But I think that Murataya might possibly be taking that kind of approach to the sport, where he's like, you know, I'm with Top Rank, and you know Top Rank's going to do the best for me, and you know whenever they put me in the ring, I'm going to get in the ring. You know, these guys got to start speaking up. A lot like Shakur Stevenson, and a lot like Floyd Schofield. I really think in a lot of ways they made that fight happen. Of course, His Excellency had his hand in it, and you know, obviously Golden Boy and Top Rank, you know, Golden Boy and Matchroom got to do what they do as well. But I think first off, it takes these fighters stepping up to the plate and saying, "This is what I want," and then not being willing, you know, not willing to let down. Not being willing to let down their guard off of what they say they want. You know, I like Murataya. I think he's a skillful fighter. I think I've seen him grow up a little bit as well. And you know, timing is everything. So we'll see.